And we're live. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing fine. So, last week we had our exercise building the site or finishing the site that we started like the week before that. And we actually don't have a lot more of talking about front end, at least about JavaScript in front end. So with the knowledge you have up until now, it's probably the knowledge you have. It's probably enough for you to build websites, web apps, and similar stuff. So what we will be doing from now on is actually going a little bit in JavaScript in backend, in Node.js. So you can build a backend and connect it to, or to build a REST API and connect it to database and see what's going on in there and how to do that and everything in between. But before that, one of the most requested lecture was actually how to use Git. So I'll wait a little bit, just a moment. So hello, Daniel. Let me double check everything. Okay, so Git is pretty much important if you are really scared of losing any progress. Hello, Turtle. Of any progress in your code or your app or website, or it's a must if you have like multiple people working on the same app or website. So Git is one of the best version control or version management software. So let's go to the Git. I will paste this here. So let's see what Git is actually. So Git is a free and open source distributed version control system designed to handle everything from small to very large projects with speed and efficiency. So I worked with Git for about, 10 years, more, like 12 years. And it's everything that it says right here. So it handles pretty good small projects. It handles great big and large projects. I will show you on the end of the lecture how can you handle like ginormous projects. And of course, easy to learn and has tiny footprint and identifies performance without classes. So easy to learn with a caveat. It's easier to learn than CVS or Subversion because those have pretty like easy commands to start running, but like going into depth and details, they are horribly complicated. I've used Subversion and CVS. Perforce and ClearCase, I don't know what they are. And they have tiny footprint with light fast performance. That's actually pretty true. Git is much more fast. It's much more fast than Subversion and CVS, and it's pretty much smaller. With features like cheap local branching, convenient staging areas, and multiple workflows. Everything from here is totally true, and the other version control system don't have all of these features here. And we will go through each of these features, and you will see that it works perfectly, and it's pretty easy to use, at least for a start. And of course, all big companies are using Git. I don't know a company at this moment that is not using Git as their main distributed version control system. At least like development software companies that I'm talking about. So wherever you are, like you will be working or you're trying to get there or talking to someone that's working, they're probably using Git. So Git is pretty much a must to have, must knowledge to have. The problem with Git is that you can learn like 3 to 4 different Git commands and be done with it if you don't want to go in depth with it. And in our case, we will go about that. Few commands, few different ways of doing stuff, and then trying to do that in VS Code. So VS Code and the other whatever we have, I think everybody here is using VS Code. They have a built-in, wait a bit here, like source control, like tab. So I have a strange like visual bug. So they are pretty built-in. So it's the third icon here. It looks like something branching. So everything you can do through terminal or command prompt or something like that, you can probably do through source control in VS Code built-in. So we'll try to use both. So the terminal one and from VS Code. So let's go back to Git. So we are going to go to git command. We will be talking about semantic versioning or semver. So it's pretty much important for you to just understand what semver means and how to use it. It's pretty simple. Then we'll go into how to use Git in VS Code, and then the Git flow. So Git flow is a flow for giant projects and management of them. It's pretty easy to use and it's pretty self-explanatory. It has a little bit like an overhead when you try to use it, but if you're using it in a team from like 3 to 7 people, I think at this point Git flow is a must for developers, for developer team to use that, because Git flow keeps everything in control, and you can't like overwrite each other code and things like that. So okay. Sorry. So these are 4 the most important Git controls, and if you know how to use these 4 Git controls, you are like 90% in there with Git. And we will go through each of these. So let's start first with Git clone. Let us go to this GitHub repository. I presume you have your GitHub account created. This GitHub will be our remote repository place. So every time we want to push something online or on a remote repository, it will actually be pushed to GitHub. So you will need your account, and I need to log in my account here. So give me a second. I forgot to do that. And actually I have 2-factor authentication set up. So yeah, log in into your GitHub account. It's here. And is it done? Yeah. So you will see here that I'm signed in as David Abram, and of course I'm creating bugs. That's my main job. So you will see that here is a CroCoder dev git exercise. I made some changes here. And for first step that you will need to do is actually click here, fork. So click fork and click on your page. You will probably have only one here. So I don't know, right? ToralScade, you probably have ToralScade. I have David Abram / git exercise. It says here forked from CroCoder dev git exercise. We'll get we'll get on the end of this lecture what is actually forking. At this point, if you fork this, you can clone or download here your project. If you haven't used Git before, you were downloading the zip every time. So what we're going to use now, if you set up your SSH properly, if you're using like Linux or Mac, it's like out of the box. If you're using Windows, I posted in a Slack a quick tutorial how to do that. You can use, at this moment, use with HTTPS. You see here it says cloned SSH. If you don't have SSH, you can use HTTPS like here. The problem with this, if you use this link here, you will be prompted to enter email and password every time you push or do some changes. So beware about that. I will use SSH. So just copy this or copy here, and let's go to our terminal. So There's two ways of going in terminal. You can use new terminal in our VS Code, or if you are like me, we'll be using our terminal. And what you need to write is git clone and paste the link you have here and press enter. So this is actually just cloning, like getting our data from GitHub repository and creating a local folder and a local repository here. So if I try to enter with cd git exercise, I'm having the index.html, license, and readme, the same ones that I have here in this repository. So you can try it. Try to pull the data, and you will see you will need to have like these three different like files, like HTML file, readme, and license. I will show you that. Let's say readme file. So in readme file, there's actually all Git commands that are like pretty important for you to learn. We will go through most of them. We probably won't go through all of them, but you'll see there are a bunch of them. So any problems? So interrupt me if there is any problems with your getting the repository, or Git not working, or some random errors. I'll try to help you as soon as I see the message. So let's go back to our VS Code. Oh, let me open the right folder. Okay, so there is an index.html. It says hello from master branch, a license that's like auto-generated for some reason, MIT license, and readme with all the Git commands here. So first thing first, let's create a file here. So it can be like hello.txt. It doesn't matter what this is. And let's say hello in here. So you will see here that this is become green, and there is something like here, and we will go back to that, how to use it there. But let's go back to our terminal. We created a file, said like hello in there, and with git status, we can actually see here what's going on in here. So it says we are on branch master. So branches are like, I can't really explain. They're like branches. So they are, there's a bunch of code that is saved on some branch with some like name. So the main branch is called master. You can have like multiple different branches, and you can call it like David branch or Danica branch or something like that. But it's like a name of some code that you saved under that. And whenever somebody switches to some other branch, you will get all the code that some person wrote there, or there is there. So we will change to another branch in a second. But okay, so your branch is up to date with origin master. So origin is our repo on GitHub. And untracked files. So hello.txt is untracked files, and it says use git add file to include what will be committed. Nothing added to commit, but untracked files present. So with git add, and you can say file hello.txt, you can actually add that file to our tracked files. So if your file is untracked, it won't be pushed to your repository. That's about it. So you can use it like this, git add and the file name, or you can say git add -a. What this a means, it actually means all. So git add all, and when you press enter, nothing prompts here, but if you go to status, you'll say, okay, we are on branch master. Your branch is up to date with origin master. Changes to be committed. Oh, so these are now files to be committed to somewhere. New file is hello.txt. You see here, git reset head file to one stage. So the files that are tracked, like not untracked, they're calling the stage files. The stage files, when I commit them, they will actually be pushed to our repo. So let's go back to our, so we said git clone, git status, git add with a for all files, like all, then git commit with message. So we created this hello txt file, and when we try to say git commit, so changes to be committed, I call git commit, and then say some message here. I can say this is my hello txt file. This isn't the greatest message, but okay, maybe better. Hello txt file created. Maybe that's a better message. And I can press enter. It says hello txt file created, one file change, one insertion, create mode 100644. Okay, that's not really important. Hello txt. And I can press git status, and it will say on branch master, your branch is ahead of origin master by one commit. So this file here, I created a commit here with this git commit message, and now it says your branch is ahead of origin master by one commit. Use git push to publish your local commits. Okay, let's write. So enumerating objects, I have 4 objects because there is license, readme, index.html, and now the how it's called, the hello txt file. Counting objects for 4, delta compression, something, and what happens here is I pushed that to github.com davidabram/git-exercise.git, and I pushed from local master to master. So let's see here. So I haven't refreshed the page, but when I try to refresh it, it will actually say David Abram hello txt file created 1 minute ago, and here's the file. It says hello in there. Pretty cool. So any problems with Git? If there is any problem, just interrupt me. So what we have done here. So let's see. So first, I created the file hello txt. First, I git cloned, of course. Then I created the file. Then I added all the files that were untracked to. So Toril, you have problems with Git. You can screenshot me if there is a prompt on your terminal and push it to Slack. I will see I will check it like in a few minutes. Okay, so we added all the files. We prompted the git status, so we see that there is a new file. What we added. Then we created a commit message, and then we git pushed, and we have the file here. So whoever clones this repository, what actually will happen, they will get the hello txt file. So let me, not sure to check that. Okay. Okay, so Toril, try to see if you have git bash on your computer. So the problem here is that your PowerShell is not actually recognizing the git program. Yeah, and cats are playing like in a hallway. I hear them clearly. So try to find if you have git bash or something like that, and if you have like that's executable. So it's a file because let me double check how it's called. Git for Windows. If you download it, yeah. So if you haven't, if you like installed it and pressed like next, maybe it's not like, yeah. Try Git here. So Toril sent me. Yeah. Okay. Now it should work probably. Try with this like bash command prompt. Yeah. So if there is any problem with Windows, just send me. I don't really know. Yeah, okay. So I don't have much experience with Windows and debugging that, but I can try. So let's go back to our problem here. So I see that who forked here. So Toril is here. Daniel, where is your fork? try to fork. I can see like each fork that happened here. So try to fork it and so Daniel, from where did you get that message? So Daniel Plesha, I get the message. I have like this message. Hi Daniel Plesha, you've successfully authenticated, but GitHub doesn't provide shell access. Okay. Don't worry. I'll repeat everything that's going on in here. You're good to go. Okay. Let's go back to here. Okay, git push. So we pushed everything. Let's clear now. So let's try to, so git status again. We are on branch master. So there is another thing to do is how to change branches. So the two most popular branches that you'll see on like every repository is like master and development. So master is like code that everybody can access, and like development is that only developer like can access, or only developer like should access, maybe better to say. So master is like your production ready. So if you want to send somebody your code, you push that in master. If you want to keep and like some code and change there, you push it to development. And of course, you can always like merge master and development without any problems. And we'll see here how you can do it. So if I say git checkout development, it says branch development set up to track remote branch development. So it took the development code or code that's on development branch from our GitHub repository. The origin is GitHub. Switch to new branch development. Let's try git status. On branch development, your branch is up to date with origin development, nothing to commit, working tree clean. So let's try to see. We don't have our txt file, and in our index.html file there is something different here written. So hello from development branch. This is some HTML that David wrote that will create conflict. Okay. Yeah, at least it's different. So if you want turn back to master, you can just say git checkout master. So git status now is we are on branch master. It says nothing to commit, working tree clean. So here is our hello txt file, and our index.html says hello from master branch. Yeah, it's pretty easy to use. It's not really that difficult. Maybe installation on Windows is difficult, but I don't know. I don't use Windows actually. At least not for programming. So let's clear this. So with git checkout, you can take anything out. And if you check here in our README, we actually have git checkout and everything that you need. So that's git checkout with anything you want here. So that's pretty cool. So what we need to do now is actually update our index.html. So we'll create a conflict. So I cannot tell you enough how many times some developer was in panic because there is a conflict and he didn't know how to, mostly junior devs, but he didn't know how to resolve that conflict, and so on and so on. There is nothing to worry about. You cannot break the code. Like, the most that you will do, you will push some nonsense somewhere, and you can always like remove that afterwards or call somebody. It doesn't need, it's not really complicated. It doesn't need to like be fatal if you push something wrong or do something wrong in Git. You can solve it without any problems. You just need like a little bit knowledge of Git. So let's create our conflict here. So what I will do here is create a div here and say I'm creating a problem, and I can put a button here and with value problem, something like that. You can write anything that you want here, but you need to save this, and let's try to push that. So you remember what you need to do? Let's try git status. On branch master, your branch is up to date with origin master. Change is not staged for commit. There is index.html modified. Now to add commit, use git add or git commit a. So let's git add a. So let's add everything. There is changes to be committed, modified index.html. That's perfectly fine. We need to write git commit with message I changed the HTML. Of course, afterwards, let's try. Your branch is ahead of origin master by one commit. We need to push that to GitHub. Yes, you succeeded. So here is our index.html, and the index.html is really, I'm creating a problem with the button problem. And you can see here, you can see, yeah, the last commit is here. I changed the HTML 39 seconds ago. Pretty cool. So let's see when what will actually happen here. We wrote something in this index.html. There is a div, I'm creating a problem. And if we go here to branches, that's right here in GitHub, press on it and go to development, you can see here that in our index.html in development, actually there is a div, and this is some HTML that David wrote that will create a conflict. Why this will create a conflict? Because our Git can't really know, do we need like this div or div that's on master, or do we need both of those or something like that, and there will probably be some issue with that. But you can see here that also title is different. Here is a hello from development branch, and then on the master there is hello from master branch. But you will see as Git, so Git is a bit smarter than your ordinary like copy pasting. So it will probably detect the title and will say like just change like hello from master to hello from development, because he understands that this is like a text and this is a HTML tag. So Git knows a little bit about your code and how to code in general. at least it understands to read some of it. So let's go back to our terminal, and what we will need to do first, let's start git status. Everything is fine. What we'll need to do is type git merge development. What this will happen, it will pull all our code from development and try to mesh it with our master the code. So let's try. And it says auto merging index.html, so it merges automatically if it knows how to do it. But it says a conflict in content, merge conflict in index.html, automatic merge failed, fix conflicts and then commit the results. So let us see, like we can cut index.html or open it with any like notepad or something like that. Maybe better open with notepad, as you're all like Windows users. So this is strangely big text here. Very interesting. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure why it's like hello from the development branch. As you can see here, this is on master branch. We merged, let me double check it. We merged from, okay, it's not here, but we merged from development. We said on our master branch, git merge development. It will take all from development and put it in master. As you can see it here, hello from development branch. It understood how to how to merge like our two titles. What what doesn't know is how to merge like this part of code and this part of code. As you can see here, there are some like less than, equals, and more than. This is actually like head means from where we are now, so in master, and this says from where we like took that code, so from development. So this is our code that's on master, this is our code that's on development. So we just need to delete some part. If you want just to take like development code, we probably should delete this and of course this. If we want to like do both, we should delete probably just these like symbols here. Or if we want just head, we can leave this. Let's try and put everything like this and save it. So let me again, so there is no like symbols from Git now. Let's clear everything and let's try to run git status. So so it says we're on branch master. You have unmerged paths. So our index.html is still unmerged because we haven't said that it's totally okay, that we fixed everything in our notepad. But it actually says here that we can run git merge abort. So merge will go back, like our master and development won't be merged now, or like it will just be aborted. Or we can again just git add index.html. So yeah, let's try and let's git add our index.html. Git status. Your branch is up to date with origin master, all conflicts fixed, but you're still merging. Use git commit to conclude the merge. Very great. So git commit merged with development branch. Okay, git status. Your branch is ahead of origin master by 3 commits. So what 3 commits? Actually, it took all commits from development that I pushed there, probably like changing index.html and doing something with readme probably. So, okay, let's git push. Here we go. Push to GitHub. If you go back to git exercise, you'll see, does it work? Are you working properly? Yeah, you can see everything is merged here. And it says merge with development branch. So our index.html is merged properly. Merge, as you see here, this is our last commit. And that's now like your 98% of things you will be doing in Git as developer, like most of the time. And like another 1% is just knowing when to abort, when to merge, and all things about that. And of course, one big command here is git stash. So if you are not happy with some code, and you need to go to some other branch, and you can potentially lose your code that you wrote, you can use git stash for like stashing your change code here. So let's try to do that. So let's clear everything. Let's go in here and adding another div here. Div ABC. We can go here with git status, and it says you can git add file or git checkout. So let's git add index.html. Not date, but git status. So your branch is up to date, origin master, changes to be committed, git reset head. So I can remove this file from like staged part, but I wanted to keep it because like div ABC is really, really important. But I must go to development and see what's going on there. So what I can do is actually use git, no, not git stage. Oh man, git stash. So what now happened, actually, all my stage changes are not here anymore. So if we go to git status, our tree is clean. We go to here, our ABC disappeared. So what actually happened, we stash our changes, like our staged changes, we stashed somewhere, like stashed really securely, and we can like now go to another branch without any problem. Git branch, or not branch, git checkout. We are now on development branch. We can go back to our master and do all the things that we can do like without losing our code. We can use, let me just first clear, we can use git stash apply to get back our code. So you can see here our index.html now has div ABC. If we try to like go git checkout development, it will say error. Your local changes to the following files will be overwritten by checkout. Please commit your changes or stash them before you switch branches. I shouldn't like show you this before, but you can here you can actually just say git add index.html git stash, and then you can git checkout development without any problem. And this like works perfectly. You see, it's really fast, and it works perfectly with giant files. So you can have file with like thousands or millions like lines of code, and it works like just the same. It works perfectly every time. But okay, this seems a little bit tedious. So writing like this is, maybe it's fun for me, but probably for you is a horrible experience, and for most people it's just like notoriously bad experience, like writing something in terminal and then checking out something and seeing its status and so on, and it's like not visualized at all. So you need to write like its status, and then you see everything is okay. You can use your VS Code. So let me see if there is something. Oh, let's first talk about commit messages, because I'm jumping all around. I really want to show you the VS Code. So commit messages. There is some like anxiety about writing commit messages when you're working in a team, and it does need to be like that. Because you will write something, it will stay forever in Git, and if you write something stupid, like blah blah blah, I had few developers that were really afraid of pushing to the repositories because they will break something or write something stupid, or everybody will see that your code is dumb. Like, I can help you with the last part. I like worked professionally for 10 years and I still think my code is dumb and that I suck at most of coding, and that is perfectly normal. We all are bad at coding. It's not something that comes in like easily or intuitively, or sometimes mostly you just forget something and you write like an idiot. So what's the problem here? If you want to use Git commit messages, I would say just write concise messages, maximum 100 chars or something like that, and just explain what have you done in the code. Like if you updated index.html, just say update to index.html, or if you know like what updates, like update index.html, everything like set to red, all background set to red, something like that. Really simple. Don't overcomplicate that, and like if you don't know what to write, just say like a bump like me. It's awful, don't do that, please. Yeah, but okay. Explain yourself, explain what you have worked on. So let's go to VS Code, then we'll discuss Semver. Semver is something maybe with package.json and also with Git. So let's go to VS Code. So if you don't want to do like stuff like writing Git status or so, we can use VS Code and you'll see how. So let's try, like the worst part about this is actually that problem Git. Let's try here. Stash. Oh, it has. Okay. So when you press F1, probably on Windows is the same as Linux. There are some like commands here, and what you can run is actually you can run like git stash commands from here. So you can see here apply latest stash. Let's try it like that. You see there is ABC, and we can probably run not with F5 but with this git stash include stash message. Oh, sorry. You can run and git stash message is hello. So I stash everything. As you can see here with F1, you can write some commands and not like you can search them by their name, like git stash and so on. But you can run it from here without any problem. You can see here there is some git pop stash, pop latest drop stash. If you don't have this in VS Code, just double check your plugins or extensions that you have, and there should be probably, or is probably built in. Let's see. Like I have different things here, nothing really important, different languages. There is something called git length and git history, but I don't think, is this created? No, this is not it. Maybe it's out of the box. I haven't checked it like for a really long time. So, but some things you can run like from the UI without typing anything. So you can see like in the bottom left corner, there's something says master. If you press that master, you can see select a ref to checkout and click on development. Actually, you just run a git checkout command. So if we go to terminal, new terminal, and press output or debug, or just a second, am I debug? I'm not sure. Just give me a second. You can't. Okay, I'm probably wrong somewhere, and so you can see like what git commands are run like under the hub of the VS Code, but it doesn't matter. So you can change to development without any problem, like master to development. If you create some changes here, like div def, and you save, you like almost immediately you will get here like 1 on your source control. And what you can see here, this is actually git status. So you will see here that index.html has been changed or modified. You can see here, like it says here, modified. So you can you can click here plus. What you actually run is git add command. Is it right here? Git history log. Is this like? No, this is just a visualization. Toggle. Okay, it doesn't matter. So we actually state the changes. If I write here some message like added div def or with value def and press this commit, you will actually commit your changes. And you see here in the bottom, like you can just press here and it will actually git push everything to your repository. Added a div with value daf. It's right here. So you don't need to create like crazy, like you don't need to use like terminal or command prompt or PowerShell for some reason. Torrel, really, PowerShell. To push your message, you push your commits and everything in between. You can just use VS Code, and you can do everything in here. So the one thing that I haven't shown you is creating a new branch. Maybe that's really interesting. So let's create a new branch and let's call it something random. I don't even like git branch random. Let's write like that. Let's try git status. Okay, we are on branch master. Let's try check out random git status. We are on branch random. You will see there is one difference here, and we are on branch master. Your branch is up to date to origin master, but this random branch, it doesn't say that we are up to date like origin random. That's why because this random branch is still just local branch. So we need to push it like first time for like our GitHub repository to know there is some branch that's called random. And like first time is git publish? No, it's not git publish, it's git. Okay. See, it's helping me. I don't know it by heart. So what we need to say here is git push set upstream origin random. We are saying that we are pushing it, but where? We need to define that. We will push it to origin. Origin is our GitHub like repository, and on GitHub it will be called random, same as like local. Is everything okay? Branch random setup track to remote branch random from origin. Okay, fine. So what we did, we actually just cloned our master branch, called it random, and pushed it to GitHub. So you can see here 3 branches. We have also random branch. You can see here it says my branch random. Same thing we can do in VS Code, and it's much easier. What we need to do here is actually just press here like this branch. It says random here. We'll actually get create a new branch or create new branch from. We can say create branch and say it random 2. What will actually happen, we will have a different icon here, not the push one, but this one is called like publish changes. That's why I wanted git command that's git publish and not just git push. And we have now, do we have another branch? Yeah, random and random 2. Everything works perfect. So if you don't know how something is written or what's command, you can just try and set like git push, and you will see if it works or if you need everything up to date. So if you need some changes from your repository, you can just press git pull, and if there are some changes, you will get those changes downloaded to your branch. It works perfectly well, like it works perfect. Or if you're on Git or VS Code, you can just like press multiple times here, and you will get everything you need. So, what do you think about that? Easy? Complicated? Any questions, guys, about this? What you have seen? Do I need to repeat something? Yeah. So I will plug myself a little bit. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. Or if you haven't liked, like. I heard that really helps your stream to be promoted. So yeah, just a little plug. Okay. So, and actually that's like most of your uses from Git. There is some like more like there's some more like useful commands, but really not like run really often. Maybe git diff, we can say master development. You can see all the changes from master and development. So you can see here there is difference from hello.txt and hello.txt. So it says here that on our development branch there is no hello.txt file, but there is one on our master, and the changes in the content is like hello there is in our master and not in development, and we have changed some changes here. The same thing we can run from VS Code. We can press just F1, and then we can go git diff, or is there? Oh, okay. Open all changes. Open changes. I'm not sure if you can run it from here. Maybe I haven't used it at all from here, so discard all changes. Maybe you cannot run it from here. It's not really super useful because okay, just a second here. So it's not super useful because if you have a lot of changes, it will just like write a lot here. So you can press enter to see more code, that you've written. And yeah, I haven't used a lot of diff here. I probably use like changes from GitHub or from our here. So let me go back. Can you go through setting authentication, username and email? So there is, I won't be going through on the stream, but there is a great blog post from, I'm not sure how the guy is called, but actually goes through each step for setting SSH. I am not sure. So Leon, his name is Leon. I'm not sure how to set up your username and email. Go through a setting authentication. Oh, you say like setting in Git. So you can set. Let me get another. So you can set your email and username in Git with some command. Let me double check that. Git, let me right here. So there is git add id. I don't know by heart. I set it once and then just git setup. So the problem, I would really advise you to use SSH, because SSH much easier to use. But if you want to set up your username and email. Okay, so I found it. So you will be needed to use username and email. So when you push to your repository, you will see here, you will know who pushed. Yeah, like it's David Abram or something like that. Maybe it's not even working if you don't set up it. So let's try to do it. You need to write git config global and then user.name and say the name that you are on GitHub. So this should be your like nick from GitHub. So let me paste this here. Sorry, I totally misunderstand your question, Vera. Sorry about that. And for email, you just write email and then email that you're using on GitHub again. Yeah, sorry about that. I haven't gone through like Git setup for a long time, so I'm not sure. So if you want to see if there is everything okay, you can go just git config list, and you will see here like David Abram, it's my GitHub username, and user email is here. And you can see here that this is our Git for at least mine Git. And you can see all the master branches and so on and so on. Does that answers your question? Oh, okay. So the problem with Windows is that you can like save your username and password with some I'm not sure, like with some program that like saves your Git. I worked on Windows like 6 or 7 years ago, done some programming on Windows. So you can save it like that. I would probably advise you to use SSH, because SSH is you just create a public and private key. You have your private key and you push your public key to every like different like place that you need some remote access, and it works like out of the box. And you don't need to worry about using your passwords or saving passwords on some random machine or something like that. That works really bad. When you want to just revoke that SSH key, you just delete it from GitHub, and that's about it. Yeah. So now the most important part of our lecture. So we know how to like call some Git command or write some Git commands and things like that. That's perfectly fine. And you will use that like maybe more with VS Code. If you're working VS Code, it's much easier to use it from graphical interface than like writing your commands there. I like writing commands in terminal. Like I don't really use like git diff that a lot. I'm using maybe more like on GitHub and so on. There are some other things on GitHub that it's not like really Git, like forks, and I will go through that to that. Like what is a fork? What you can actually do is you can really push it to back to like git fork is right. I may be mistaken. Like there are some things that Git doesn't have and GitHub has, but forking is a Git command. Let me I may be just wrong about it, but okay, it doesn't matter. I will show you how to do it on GitHub. It does to terminal is just a hassle. But what you need to know actually is how to use it properly when you're in a team. So there is something called git flow, and we can check it in our browser and go to git flow. And you can see there are multiple, but git flow here is something that I will paste it here. So git flow is, Git is a version control and it works perfectly fine. So we can revert mistake, create a branch, merge your branches, allow multiple teammates to merge code. That's perfectly fine. But what's the problem here? You can do some really stupid stuff here, like just make a mistake and like nobody knows like where that mistake happened, like from where that bug came, and there is some like things in Git that you can use to find it, but it's kinda like hard to find it all times, and there is some problems like like if two developers write the code in the same time and push all the time, they will have a lot of merges and conflicts and so on. So better thing for, so you can see here, using version control such as Git is advantageous and desired by most developers. Integrating Git in existing workflows and procedures can be a barrier to adoption. So that was a big problem like 8 years ago or something like that. Git was pretty popular, but the problem was like how we can use Git in our team or of like 6 developers to use it and not have like each day like hundreds of conflicts, hundreds of merges, hundreds of problems, like some developer writes on some branch and forgets about it and doesn't know like what branches to do or what's code on what branch and so on. So we need some flow in Git for it to be like more useful for us. So there is something called Git flow, and Git flow is just like it's not a piece of code or something, it's just a process how to use. And so I will go to with you like step by step how Git flow was created, like logically, how you can think about Git flow. So we created something before. So let me go first. But first, what we need to understand is like versioning, semantic versioning, and why is great. So if you used like I don't know, Microsoft Office Word, and you go to your, actually I don't have Word, I'm in Linux at the moment, but if you go, or maybe better Chrome, if you go on Chrome, go here and say about Chrome here, it will say, for me it says Chromium, it will say Chrome for you, it says something like version something point something point something. So, and you say, okay, what's like these numbers here, and like what's like there are 4 numbers. We'll talk about semantic versioning with only 3 numbers, but the same stuff. Like this is just a bunch of numbers. What it actually means. So I will show you what it actually means. So semantic versioning is when you version your code, like at least your production ready code, with 3 different numbers or more, or maybe some letters in there, but don't worry about that. So there are 3 different things. So it's like 3.1.12. This actually says to the developer that you had 3 different like major versions. So major versions means that code or like changes from one version to another version of code were so big that maybe the version like 2 and the version 3 don't work the same way. So we call that major version. So the other one is a minor version. Every time we want to like push something to production or to our client, we actually bump our minor version. So minor version means that version 3.1 point something and 3.0 point something have some changes in there. They're pretty noticeable. We maybe create a new feature or something like that, but it's nothing like breaking. And the patch note is we created a lot of bug fixes. So every time we create some bug fix, or we like see some bug, or we see, I don't know, a label like written wrongly, we actually just bump our patch number. So 3.1.12, it means there was 2, at least this is 3rd like major version of code. There is like 3.0 before that, and we we had 12 patches here. So it starts from 1.0.0 or 0.1.0 as like it haven't had like a big production release. When we have our first release, we actually say it's version 1.0.0. If you see like 0.3.4, it means probably that still in beta version, or it haven't had like a big release. So, okay. So why am I talking about this? Because in Git flow, I will show you like some, I will explain Git flow like in steps of how like everything started. So we had like master and development. So master, I said that is something that you want to show to somebody or to a user, to your client, or deploy to production to some server. The development down there is for you to develop it on. So what happens here? So we wanted to create something on development. We branched from master from development. Master is on version 0.1.0, and we did something in here. And then we merged back to master. Now our master becomes 0.2.0, then minor version created here, and we can develop more on here, or we can just push that master and somebody sees that. So this version can be like controlled from Git, or we can control from like package.json, from npm, if you're writing like JavaScript modules. But it really doesn't matter. This is just illustrating you that this way of developing something and going back here, you're actually increasing the minor version of it. So there shouldn't be any changes like on master here. All the changes, all the code that you pushed, that you change, that you write, is actually should be in development. This is like the first step. So, oops, sorry. So this works, oh, I have pointer. This works perfectly fine if you have a small team or you're just one person in a team. Like you don't need to see like each time I push something, maybe it's not working properly, maybe I have still some bugs. And then when I'm totally fine with my state of development branch, I can push it back to master. And then all my clients or all, I don't know, whoever uses that code or maybe deploys somewhere can be happy with the master. That's perfectly fine. The problem here is, what if you have like 6 developers like blasting here in this development, and then there's some bug here and you cannot push to master because there is some bug from the 6th developer who is on vacation at the moment. That's something that happened to me. So I had multiple developers in my team, and somebody like pushed something, said everything is done, our quality assurance said that's perfectly fine, and we find like a smallest issue possible, and we couldn't like push to master, we couldn't push to deployment, we couldn't deploy that because it's like it's an issue, but at least like 2 or 3 clients of ours will have that issue there. Great. And I cannot get to the developer because he's on vacation, and I just want to take all the code except his and push it to master, and we have like 3 other features like done in there. That's a big problem. So there is a solution, something called feature branches. So every time we want to have like new feature, what we actually do, or we do some coding on some feature, we actually branch to a feature branch. So feature branch in most of repositories are just it says like feature slash I don't know, Pokemon listing, feature slash Pokemon search. And you can just call like git branch feature slash when you're in development slash something. When you're in development, branch it out. And then when you're done, you go back to development, but only when your feature is done. So if we had the situation where our developer like was on vacation now, we still don't need to pull it to development branch here. If there is something confusing here, just say in chat and I will explain it again or explain it better. So imagine this is our sixth developer that's on vacation now, and somebody can choose to push the feature from feature branch, this one from first feature branch to development, but not from the second one because there is some bug here. And we want for our developer to go back to work and create a bug fix or something for that. And then push it to the development, and maybe in like version 0.3.0, our feature from our vacationing developer will be on production. This is pretty great, and it works perfectly fine, and it's really awesome. So there is another problem with this way of this solves like our developers like doing bugs or something and so on, but there can be some issues also here. So what if we found that we still have a bug somewhere in development? What we need to do is fix something, but we really want to deploy some version of it, or at least like continue developing on our development, or at least some new feature that's needed for 0.3.0 is done and we want to push it, and there are some problems in there. So what we need to do is put some buffer between master and development, so it will be like more usable, easier to like control and so on, and that's called the release branch. So it gets complicated, yeah, it's a bit complicated. So what's the problem here? So if we found some error here, or we needed to do some more house cleaning, anything, maybe to change our txt file or update our index HTML that haven't been done in the feature branches or something like that, we actually can try to put it on release branch, do some stuff here, and then push it to master, and then return it to development. All the changes that we done on release back to development. And of course, release branches are called like release/0.1.0, release/0.2.0. Mostly they're called like that. So release branches are just a buffer between development and master if we need to do some busy work here. Mostly that's like changing the config files or updating our HTML files, or just some outside thing that comes like, I don't know, maybe translations or something like that. We can keep it in our release branches and keep our release branch live here and then push it to master. That works perfectly fine until we have a giant problem, and that's our version 0.1.0 has a bug in it. And our client can't wait for version 0.2.0. And our code in development differs really like hugely from master. So what's the problem? We are in point here. What we can do? Actually, what we can do is introduce a new branch called bugfix branch. And in that branch, we fix all the problems that we encounter in master. So branch from master and return it with patch version. That's why patch version is important. So let me see here. Okay. So if master has a bug in here, we branch it to bugfix. We change something and then push it back to master. And now master 0.1.1 version is here with the bug, with dreaded bug fix. It bug fixed the dreaded bug from 0.1.0, and it's now here. So you can see here that everything works the same for our developers. They are pulling from development to features, doing work on features. Then somebody who's controlling the code, who knows what maybe quality assurance, maybe like team lead, is pulling back to development. Once the development branch is stable, goes to release, you do some busy work there and push it to 0.2.0 version of our master now. And everything that's like that's in the same branch is actually like pushed to the next version. So this bug fix here is pushed to our version 0.2.0 without any problem. So this is like the best way, at least at the moment, of managing your Git, and it's pretty popular. So if you use Git and you're not implementing like Git flow or maybe something more advanced like GitHub flow, you can Google that. I won't go in depth about that. That's really you will have more issues with Git than with some like other way of transport your data, or at least you're not using Git, like all features of Git. This like creates a really easy way of developing new features and still checking on your releases and not like pushing something that's broken on your production. So what do you think about that? Any questions about that? This is more theoretical. I'm just mostly frustrated about developers or sometimes team leads that don't really understand this, and they are saying like, we really don't need the like release branch because we know better than everybody else that using release branch, because this is quite important. You need a release branch to be buffer between development and master, so you can continue developing on development and have release everything like saved here is in the release branch. So if we want to go back in history and say release /0.1.0, we will go back in this point of time, our imaginary point of time. But it works perfectly fine. So when we are on version 3.1.12, we can see all the history of releases, of our versions in master here, of all bug fixes. Really easy, because we can just write git checkout release /0.1.0 and it works like out of the box. So you will see this on like most repositories. You can see, I don't know, let's try to find some repositories on GitHub, like maybe some famous ones. Let's try and go to React. So React is a front-end library. You can see here there are like 13,000 commits in here. Oh man, like 1,000 people working on this, like at least 1,000 people are contributing. Let me double check this. Like you can see like a bunch of people are working. You can see also like they work from this point of time to this point of time on this. It's crazy. And you can see that there is 69 branches, and you can see, let me go to all branches. You can see here that they're using a similar thing. There are some revert build, that's kind of like a build part, but it's similar, or that they use like it. But they're using, you see, these are release branches. They have just different naming from me. I don't really like this naming that they're using in there, because they have like development branches of certain version and so on. Maybe they're not using that, but maybe who is using that? Let's double check. They're not at least using the naming structure, but they're using similar to let me check who's like the favorite. Maybe Express. Let's see. So Express is a Node.js framework. Let me see the branches. Yeah, they're pretty much using. They have a master. They're benchmarking. They have versions in there. Yeah, they have simplified that. Maybe they're not using here. I will find next time some branches that are using a Git flow really actively. But if you're not using, you can get really like complicated thing. Let's try. Let me get another shot of it. There are some different ways of using Git, and they're fine for something, and they're not. Like Express is not used. I don't know. Let me check. Does it demo? Let me double check. Maybe I'm totally wrong about branches. He doesn't have a lot of branches here. Okay, it doesn't mean anything. I will find you a great great example who is using that. I mean, I have here on website we used like similar, but we have a lot of like fixes now that are needed. We use like feature blog updates, feature learning, feature corporate new. Yeah, I'll find you for next time. It doesn't matter right now. Most of what I show, they have like a lot less versioning through Git. There are some other ways of versioning your code, and there is maybe you can version it through npm.js. You can see that if I open like a JSON server on npm.js, you will see that here is some versioning, like a version here. The JSON server is in beta for a long time. And you can see there are like 122 releases here. Maybe he's using properly. Yeah, he has only 3 branches. Doesn't matter. I would really advise you to use Gitflow if you have a team of multiple people working on it. And if you if you have some like outside things that helps you versioning from Git, then use that. But if you're using Git for versioning, please use Gitflow. Yeah, I will find something that uses. Yeah, any questions, guys? I'm on the end, and I'm at this moment I'm searching searching GitHub for anything that uses. I think what could be used? Maybe let me double check with this. Like 6 years ago, what's going on here? They have like 4 years ago, 3 years ago. What's going on here is sales. No active branches. What sales is not developed on anymore? Oh, I'm so disappointed about sales. Maybe something more. Let me double check this. Not in this repository, but let me check this database. Okay, they are having like master branch, then version branches. They're also using some versioning from outside. So I will find one repository that use that perfectly. I don't know by heart. I haven't seen it a lot. So if you're using like Git for versioning, Gitflow, yeah. If you have any problems with Git or setup in Git or something, get me on Slack. We will be doing some Node.js this Saturday. I still need to think like what is the best thing to do first. Like maybe just reading files and parsing files and like inputting and outputting into files. Maybe that's the best thing that I can do for Saturday. Something like not complicated and something too easy to go through with just using JavaScript and running it with Node.js. Because everything you learned up till now in JavaScript is usable in Node.js, and Node.js only has some APIs of manipulating it. At least it doesn't have API for manipulating web pages because it doesn't work with web pages, but it has API for manipulating like local files, about using some cryptography functions, like using different things. So maybe like reading files and getting those files, like changes and writing in those, and then doing something with them and so on and so on. So in the next week, we can go to the REST API. We will probably be using like some framework for REST API in Node. So Node has a built-in like server or at least REST API inside of Node.js language, but like Express is a pretty popular framework that's really easy to use, and and you will see it's pretty easy to create REST APIs and create things like JSON server or something like that. Yeah. So, any questions, guys? If not, we will see each other on Saturday. If there are any questions, just ping me on Slack, email me anything that you want, and yeah. So, see you guys. See you soon, really. Bye.